Yo, what's good everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving headfirst into the blood-soaked, bullet-riddled world of Marvel's most relentless anti-hero and Punisher, Red Band issue number 1. This isn't your typical Frank Castle story. This is a raw, unfiltered descent into vengeance, memory loss, and moral reckoning. We're talking burning boats, confession booths, and a city full of corrupted souls where justice and manipulation are separated by a razor-thin line. And when you throw Frank Castle, Wilson Fisk, and a whole lot of moral decay into the same city at the same time, well, let's just say this is what happens when the trash takes out the trash. Buckle up, because this issue is wild, and we're about to break down every brutal, brilliant moment. So we open on Frank Castle, except he doesn't know he's Frank Castle. Dude is sprawled out on the floor of a burning cargo ship, bleeding from multiple gunshot wounds, and his brain is basically scrambled eggs at this point. He's got one bullet through the occipital bone, that's the back of your skull, another through his right shoulder, and a third tearing through his left thigh. And here's where it gets sketchy. Frank's military training kicks in automatically. Even though he can't remember his own name, his body is doing the math. He's calculating coagulation rates, analyzing the sulfur smell in the air, determining the gunfight happened less than 10 minutes ago. His 9mm Uzi feels familiar in his hand, but the 32-round magazine is bone dry. Empty. The dude is surrounded by corpses, the ceiling's on fire, and he's lost over a liter of blood. But what really gets him is what he sees in the cargo hold. 505-pound bags of fentanyl powder. That's when it hits him like a freight train. Whatever went down here, it was big. Real big. And then he hears it. That sound. Marine patrol sirens cutting through the smoke and chaos. Now we jump to New York Harbor, and the Marine patrol is closing in fast. Frank's response is pure instinct. No thought, just action. It's like when you touch a hot stove and your hand just moves. You know? He opens fire. Spotlights explode like fireworks. Hulls splinter. He's not trying to kill anyone, but they're definitely trying to kill him. So what does Frank do? He runs, not because he's scared. Frank Castle doesn't do fear, but because getting caught isn't in the cards. He sprints through the burning corridors of this cargo ship and just launches himself into the dark water below. And as he sinks deeper and deeper into that cold, black abyss, we get this internal monologue that's chilling. The only thing that matters is the work he must do, the work of the blade and the bullet. He lives so that others may die. And that's the whole Punisher philosophy in one sentence. Alright, so now we shift gears completely. We're at the First Reformed Church in Queens, and we're in a confession booth. A priest settles in, asks the standard question. How long has it been since your last confession? The voice on the other side responds, and it's smooth. Too smooth. Let's just say I'm new to this. But then this mystery person starts talking about sin, forgiveness, and punishment. And then, plot twist, he drops the priest's name. Father O'Connor. The priest's hand finds a hidden gun, and then the voice lays it all out. For the past 20 years, you've been using your position within international charities to traffic men, women, and children into this fair city, my city. The emphasis on my city is everything, because now we know who's on the other side of that booth. It's Wilson Fisk, the kingpin himself. So, you see, Father, I'm not here to atone for my sins. You are. And Fisk doesn't just drop this bomb and dip. Nah, he's methodical. He tells Father O'Connor, I've already delivered a portfolio of evidence to both the diocese and the NYPD. You'll be arrested first thing tomorrow. But here's the twisted part. This is where Kingpin reveals he's been writing the script the whole time, while everyone else is just acting in it. So now you understand the gun. Think of it as a kind of rosary, something to pray over, hoping for absolution. A single gunshot rings out. Father O'Connor presumably takes the easy way out, or what Tombstone would call a quick death. Cut to the police investigation. Detective Pluto is examining the carnage from that cargo ship, and bodies are burned beyond recognition. But she recognizes one of them. Dude used to run with Tombstone. And that's when she drops this truth bomb. You don't mess with Tombstone. And she's right, because we immediately cut to Tombstone standing in a meat locker. But these ain't sides of beef hanging from hooks. These are live people. 5 gang members from 5 different crews, all strung up and terrified. Tombstone steps forward with a butcher knife, and his voice is cold as ice. "You're not getting out of here alive. The best I can offer you is a quick death, which is better than the alternative. I take you apart on piece by piece." Tombstone continues, "There are 5 of you, from 5 of the gangs most likely to waltz with me. All I need is a name. Who's the boss who killed my crew? Who's the boss who destroyed my shipment? Who's the boss making a smart move?" And just like that, a gang war is about to pop off across New York City. Meanwhile, Frank Castle washes up on a beach in Brooklyn. A woman walking her dog finds him, and despite every survival instinct screaming at her to call 911, Frank tells her, "No hospital and no phone. Take me to your house. Now." This woman, Judy, actually helps him. She brings vodka, tweezers, needle, and thread. Frank bites the cap off that vodka bottle, takes a swig, pours it over his wounds, then heats up those tweezers with a lighter and starts digging bullets out of his own flesh. Zero anesthesia, just raw determination. Frank passes out from the pain, and Judy finishes stitching him up. But here's where things get weird. When Frank wakes up and looks in the mirror, Judy tells him something that doesn't add up. She went to stitch up the gunshot wound in his head, but it was already healed. Someone had already fixed him up real good. Frank starts panicking, yelling, and we cut to why. Wilson Fisk is watching him through a surveillance feed. Kingpin leans forward and says, "Time to get back to work." His finger hovers over a button labeled "Activate Punisher," and he presses it. Now we gotta rewind a bit to understand Kingpin's master plan. Earlier, we see Fisk standing in a penthouse, looking through a telescope at the city. There's a dead city councilwoman slumped in a chair behind him, another corrupt official he's cleaned up. And Fisk delivers this monologue that's straight out of The Godfather, mixed with a twisted sermon. "I'm inspired, you see, divinely inspired, and from the loftiest penthouse to the lowest subway platform, I'm going to clean up this city in a way I never could as mayor." He explains his two-pronged approach. "I have my smooth tongue to do some of the work. Sometimes, all it takes is a smartly phrased sentence to incite change, but I also have my blunt, cold instruments." And then the kicker. And one of them just kicked off a gang war. It's always such a delight, seeing the trash take out the trash. So let me break down what Kingpin's actually doing here, because this is legit genius level villainy. He's using Frank Castle, the Punisher, as a weapon, but Frank doesn't even know it. Frank hit Tombstone's fentanyl shipment, thinking he's doing vigilante justice. This triggers Tombstone to go after rival gangs, thinking they're responsible. All the criminal organizations start tearing each other apart. Meanwhile, Kingpin is systematically taking out corrupt officials and positioning himself as the savior of New York. Back in Judy's bathroom, Frank's memories are scrambled, but his instincts aren't. When Judy asks if he's okay, Frank's response is chilling and perfect. "Do you have any guns?" Because even without his memories, even without knowing his own name, Frank Castle knows what he is. He's a weapon, and Kingpin's got his finger on the trigger. Alright, so let's talk about what makes this narrative so dope. First off, we got this theme of control versus free will. Frank thinks he's operating on instinct, but Kingpin's actually puppeteering the whole thing. It raises this question: if someone programs you to be a weapon and you go do weapon things, are you really making choices, or are you just executing code? Second, there's this idea of cleaning up the city. Both Kingpin and Frank think they're doing the right thing, but their methods are out of pocket. Kingpin's using manipulation and murder. Frank's using bullets and brutality. The story doesn't give us easy answers about whether ends justify means. Third, and this is low-key the most important part, we see how corruption breeds violence. Father O'Connor trafficking humans, the councilwoman taking Russian bribes, Tombstone moving fentanyl, all these sins interconnect, and Kingpin's playing them all against each other like chess pieces. The setting here is crucial. New York isn't just a backdrop, it's a character. From the loftiest penthouses to the grittiest meat lockers, from confession booths to burning cargo ships, every location tells us something about the soul of this city. It's a place where extreme wealth and extreme poverty exist side by side, where corruption happens in churches and violence happens in the harbor. The writers really nail that sense of a city eating itself alive. Kingpin says it himself. He's gonna clean it up, from the loftiest penthouse to the lowest subway platform. That's the full spectrum of New York, and the story uses every inch of it. So where does this leave us? Frank Castle's gonna figure out who he is eventually. Tombstone's gang war is about to tear the city apart. And Kingpin's sitting up in his tower, watching it all unfold like he's directing a movie. The brilliance of this story is how it takes the classic Punisher formula. Man with guns shoots bad guys, and adds layers of psychological manipulation, citywide conspiracy, and moral ambiguity. It asks, what if the Punisher wasn't acting on his own moral code? What if someone else was writing that code? And that, my friends, is terrifying. Alright everyone, that's gonna do it for this breakdown. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. Do you think Frank's gonna break free of Kingpin's control? Is Tombstone about to become a bigger problem than anyone expects? And most importantly, can New York City survive having 3 apex predators circling each other? Hit that like button if you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe for more comic breakdowns, and I'll catch you in the next one. We're gonna keep following this story as it develops, because something tells me this gang war is just getting started. Alright, peace.